So, at the start of the year, I made a video about getting started with Ironsworn, and in that video, I said there were more expansions and more support for the Ironsworn family of games on the way, and well, the first of those things is here in the shape of the new and revised Lodestar Reference Guide. But what is Lodestar? Well, like the title says, it is a reference guide which condenses all the material you need to get a game of Ironsworn going into one place. The old version did this with a few dozen pages, but this new revised edition adds and expands on that, taking it well above the 100-page mark, incorporating material from the Ironsworn expansion Delve, as well as some all-new features, which makes this something you will definitely want to pick up. But before we get too much into what Lodestar is, let's quickly talk about what Lodestar is not. It is not the full rulebook, so for examples of play, for player guidance, for full explanations of the mechanics and details about the setting, you will need the Ironsworn and Delve rulebooks. Lodestar will give you what you need to get going, but if you find yourself wanting to read about Ironsworn or Delve in any more depth, then you'll need to refer to those books. So, what's in this new version of Lodestar? Well, you will find everything you need for character and campaign setup. You will find rule summaries, new and revised core oracles, and the moves reference. In addition, you will now find the oracles from Delve, including themed sites, threats, and monstrosities. Also, you will find a reference for all the moves that were introduced in Delve, which should prepare you to start exploring the cursed and perilous places in the Ironlands. One of the best things, in my opinion, about the new Lodestar is the updated moves reference. Now, if you know a little about Ironsworn, you will know that when Starforged came out, it revised and refined a lot of the gameplay. It sort of incorporated lessons learned from having thousands of people play the game, right? And in that process, Starforged changed a lot of the moves from Ironsworn, removing some completely and giving things like combat a total overhaul, complete with its own bespoke set of moves. Now, as a result, we have two systems that are very similar, but just different enough to make porting the Starforged moves into Ironsworn quite tricky, especially with how those rules relate to the dozens of different assets. Now, we know that in a few years' time, we will see the second edition of Ironsworn, which, yes, whilst it's a few years away, will likely bring its moves more into line with Starforged. But this new version of Lodestar does something quite smart in the interim. Whilst a couple of moves have had minor wording tweaks, they are all the same. However, in the moves reference, we now have some little box outs that give players the option of using the Starforged version of certain moves. And it's not every move, it's just a few select moves. Most notably, it's Secure an Advantage and End the Fight, where if you so wished, you could follow the additional instructions and use the slightly more forgiving version of these moves. It's a nice little measure to bring the rules more in line with what they have become since Starforge came out, without having to do a total overhaul. There is also a brand new move called Follow a Path, which now gives players the option to travel a known route with one roll. It still means there's a good deal of risk when you travel anywhere, but it also now means that Undertake a Journey doesn't have to do all the heavy lifting. We also have some expanded oracles with settlements, characters, and locations all getting a significant glow up. And in addition, we get some brand new oracles, including some really interesting new combat oracles that will help give your encounters an extra sense of dynamism and danger. There are also new oracles that concern themselves with the effects, either deliberate or unintended, of mystic rituals, and on top of all that, there is also a very nice new feature called Prelude Events, which is it's sort of a character background generator that allows you to fill in some detail of your character's past, as they might be associated with a particular aspect of your build. Now, I like this feature a lot, and I think it will give players some really interesting things to consider as they explore their characters through play. Tying all this together is some beautiful new art and layout, and there is also a brand new illustrated character sheet being released alongside Lodestar, in addition to a beautiful new full colour map of the Ironlands. So there is a lot here that will help you get your games to the table, without the need for constant scanning through multiple books, and it also acts as a nice little refresh for those of us who perhaps haven't played Ironsworn for a while, having moved on to Starforged and Sundered Isles. Depending on when you're watching this, the new revised version of Lodestar is out now or will be out very soon. The PDF is pay as you want, so if you were so inclined, you could get this along with the Ironsworn rulebook for exactly nothing. For those of you who might want a physical copy, then there is a print-on-demand version available through DriveThruRPG and a few other places, and you'll find a link to all those in the down below. So yeah, that's the new Lodestar Reference Guide. It's always nice to get some new Ironsworn content, and I can't wait to dig into it. Please like this video and subscribe if you have not done so already, and please do check out the Bad Spot Patreon. There you will get early, ad-free access to all videos, exclusive behind-the-scenes content, and your name on screen like these lovely people. I'll be back next time, but until then, it is farewell and safe passage.